President and Chief Operating Officer of Staples Canada. It is my pleasure to welcome Minister Todd McCarthy, PA Brian Riddell, PA Sharif Sabawi, MPP Rudy Cusetto, and Councillor Janet Haslett-Theo, and Staples Canada CEO David Boone to our Oakville store. I would also like to acknowledge and honour the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. The town of Oakville is located on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the treaty holders, for being stewards of this traditional territory. Staples proudly serves communities across Ontario and across the country, delivering the highest quality services and products to our customers. Staples Canada is a Canadian-led and service-oriented organization with over 11,000 associates and over 300 stores across the country. Our success hinges on excellent customer service, convenient locations, and an expanded assortment of services and products that Ontarians and Canadians need. That's why, as a company, we are always looking for new and innovative ways to better serve communities. Our exciting new partnership with the Ontario government does just that. ServiceOntario full-service centres will officially launch at 6 Staples locations this February, including right here in Oakville. Staples continues to offer an expanding suite of services across all of our locations. The addition of these new ServiceOntario full-service centres is part of this growing practice. With extended hours, easy parking, and access to public transit, we know these locations will bring much-needed convenience to busy Ontario families. ServiceOntario delivers critical services for people across the province, and I know in recent years the provincial government has been working diligently to improve how these services are delivered. Staples Canada is pleased to support this work. In partnership with the Ontario government, we're excited to bring more convenience to busy Ontarians. With that, I want to thank Minister McCarthy and the provincial government for the opportunity for Staples to participate in this process. This is an exciting initiative for Ontarians, and I look forward to welcoming additional ServiceOntario centres at 3 more Staples locations later this year. Thank you again for joining us today. And with that, I'll pass it over to Councillor Haslett-Theo.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oakville. Minister McCarthy, esteemed guests and residents of Oakville, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of Town Council and Mayor Burton to the lovely city of Oakville, or I should say town. Today's announcement represents an understanding of the needs of our community. We in Oakville always look for ways to enhance the quality of life for our residents. It's not just about providing a service. It's about embedding these services into the fabric of our community, making them a natural and effortless part of our daily lives. Thank you, Staples Canada, for being an integral part of this initiative, which demonstrates that your commitment goes beyond business. It is about being a valuable part of the community's ecosystem. I wanted to express our town's collective appreciation to Minister McCarthy and ServiceOntario for bringing this innovative service model to Oakville. We are excited about the positive impact this will have for our residents, and we look forward to continued initiatives that support the needs of our citizens. Thank you all for being here today and celebrating a giant step forward in government services. And now I would like to welcome PA Brian Riddell to the podium.
Thank you, Councillor, and good morning, everyone. It's absolute pleasure to be here in Oakville with Staples Canada's President Rachel Huckle, President, and David Boone, the CEO, Councillor Janet Haskell-Theo, along with my caucus colleagues, PA Sharif Sabawi, with the support, and MPP Rudy Cusetto to support Minister McCarthy at this morning's event. Today's announcement is about how our government is working for you by delivering on a commitment made by Premier Ford to provide simpler, faster, and better ways to connect Ontario families and businesses to the government products and services they need more conveniently than ever before. Now, without any further delay, please join me in welcoming our Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery, the Honourable Todd McCarthy.
Good morning, everyone, and a big thank you to my colleague and our ministry's parliamentary assistant, Brian Riddell, for his kind introduction. Before I begin, I would like to also thank Rachel Huckle, President of Staples Canada, and David Boone, CEO of Staples Canada, our new partners and our hosts for today's exciting announcement. I'm also happy to be joined by my colleagues, PA Sharif Sabawi and MPP Rudy Cuzzetto, along with Councillor Janet Haslett-Teal. Thank you all for being here to represent your communities, which are amongst the first to benefit from today's announcement. Last and definitely not least, I want to recognize and sincerely thank our incredible team at ServiceOntario, whose hard work and dedication have made today a reality. Today, I am proud to officially announce our partnership with Staples Canada and the opening of new, fully fledged ServiceOntario centres in 6 Staples Canada locations as of this Thursday, February 1st, with 3 additional centres opening later this year. Staples Canada is a fantastic fit into our retail partnership model, and one that I excitedly and optimistically welcome with open arms. Let me be clear, this is not new. It is only new to Staples Canada. The retail partnership model has in fact been tried, tested, and very well received by Ontarians. For the past 15 years, ServiceOntario has worked with Canadian Tire, IDA, and Home Hardware as retail partners. We are proud of our partnerships with experienced, established retailers with a strong community presence that helps us create simpler, faster, and better ways to connect Ontarians to the vital services they depend upon. Now, Staples Canada is the 4th retail partner working with us to bring vital government services closer to community hubs where Ontarians live, work, and shop. These 6 fully equipped ServiceOntario centres operated by Staples Canada are going to be in Welland, Strathroy, Newmarket, Scarborough, Tillsonburg, and of course, right here in Oakville. And they will provide many benefits not available in our traditional service centres. These include extended operating hours, with some being open until 9 p.m. on weekdays, as well as all-day Saturdays until 5 p.m. They also include readily available and ample parking, access to public transit routes, appointment booking, along with having both retail services and ServiceOntario services all in one central hub. And I am pleased that these new ServiceOntario centres will open on Thursday, February 1st, officially joining the family of hundreds of privately operated ServiceOntario locations. Simply put, when it comes to delivering service excellence, there is no one-size-fits-all. That is why our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford, is committed to a variety of alternative service delivery models, which include innovative partnerships with retailers, municipalities, private businesses of all shapes and sizes, and Indigenous communities, as well as constant expansion of our online 24/7 service offerings. We cannot afford to be an offline government in an online age. That is why ServiceOntario is tirelessly working to develop new and improved online services to match the fast pace of our ever-evolving digital world. Our 24/7 ServiceOntario.ca portal empowers you to complete now over 55 of our most in-demand services from the comfort of home on the device of your choosing. That is more than half of our existing services, with enhancements to our clients' online experience and improved functionalities being constantly rolled out. This will include making it possible for Ontarians to personalize their online experience, providing people more choice in how to manage government documents, keep track of transactions, and get important notifications, all with the ultimate goal of getting things done more efficiently. However, there must always be a reliable in-person option that the public can count on when they need it. And that is precisely why I am so proud to stand here and say to all Ontarians, we are here for you. We are here for you no matter where you live, no matter how many services you need to access each year, and no matter your accessibility needs. ServiceOntario's 276 different centres guarantee a vast and reliable network of service availability. The bottom line is that we need to be able to reliably get the vital products and services that people and businesses need while tailoring service delivery to fit the unique needs of the community being serviced. Just as we have done in northern, remote, and Indigenous communities like Pickle Lake, that's where our partnership with the local township resulted in making an integrated community service hub, allowing Ontarians to access products and services from both levels of government in a shared space. In July of 2022, the North Shore Tribal Council worked alongside us to launch the first ever Indigenous-led Service Ontario, co-located with the Council's headquarters at the Serpent River First Nation Trading Post in Cutler. Then, just a few months later, they launched a mobile service center trailer, enabling them to bring services directly to community members within the Robinson-Huron Treaty area. Mobile centers are just one example of the innovative options we continue to explore to better serve our different communities. And I'm very much looking forward to sharing some exciting news with Ontarians in the coming weeks about our ongoing work to implement even more solutions like this one where they are needed most. And finally, I wish once again to thank Staples Canada CEO David Boone, President Rachel Huckle, and the entire Staples Canada team, not only for hosting us today, but for joining us in our mission to push the envelope of customer service excellence and revolutionizing the way Ontarians interact with government. And thank you all very much for being here, and of course I'm happy to take any questions.
Morning, everyone. Please state your name and the media outlet, and it will be one question, one follow-up.
Hello, it's Richard Southern from City News. How are you, Minister?
Good morning.
Hope you can give Ontarians some exact answers today, because I know many of them have questions about why their taxpayer dollars are being used to retrofit stores like this one when Staples openly admits it's looking to monetize this arrangement. You're standing just 2 feet from the printer display. Minister, my first question is, will you release all the financials today? And exactly, Minister, how many taxpayer dollars are going to the retrofit?
Well, this is an investment in customer service excellence. And this is not new, of course, Richard. This is a continuation and an increase by 30% in service delivery capacity, with a savings of close to $1 million over 3 years with this particular pilot project. That's good news for Ontarians. And of course, the retail partnership model is not new. It dates from 2010. Staples Canada now joins 3 other successful retail partnerships, being Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and IDA. And of course, private sector delivery of Service Ontario products and services now constitutes 71% of Service Ontario delivery. And of course, that dates from 1917. So the idea of private sector delivery as one of the alternative service delivery models is over a century old. And the successful retail partnership model constitutes just about 4% of the overall service delivery model, which includes businesses of all sizes, small businesses, Indigenous communities, municipal co-partners, and of course the government-operated centres. A great success story for this community continues, and it continues across Ontario.
Minister, I have a follow-up, but I didn't get an answer. How many taxpayer dollars for the retrofit? I didn't catch that. So
the savings, of course, with leasing costs being assumed by Staples Canada in this pilot project means close to $1 million in savings over the next 3 years. As far as the retrofit costs are concerned, there is the common denominator of branding for Service Ontario outlets. So whether the location is government operated, municipally co-partnered, Indigenous community co-partnered, or private sector co-partnered, businesses big or small, the government always funds the cost, 100% of the cost of the retrofitting, the one-time capital cost. That's to ensure common branding and consistency with protocols for Service Ontario, because it is a recognizable brand and it's well known to Ontarians, that common green signage with white letters.
I have a follow-up, sir. I have a follow-up. He didn't answer, and I have a follow-up. Why was the deal sole source, Minister?
So typically with pilot projects, Richard, we utilize this kind of contract. The excellent, dedicated professionals in my ministry were committed to continuing to improve and build upon successful service delivery models, and they've done that. They reached out to dozens of potential partners, retail and otherwise, and insisted upon the strict criteria of the procurement directive with the Ontario public sector, and of course the 4 strict criteria of customer service excellence, community presence, cost effectiveness, and scalability. Staples Canada, among the dozens approached, met those criteria, as did the other retail partners that Staples Canada is joining. And I'm very, very proud of our professional, dedicated ministry staff for quarterbacking this effort and bringing about another successful addition to our retail partnership model.
Hi, this is Eden with CP24. I'm going to pick up on Richard's line of questioning there. You won't give an exact amount for how much taxpayer dollars are going into this, but the Canadian press has quoted around $10 million. If it's $900,000 of savings, as you said, just under $1 million, where does the math work there? Just how much of a good deal is this for taxpayers?
Well, the first important point about this is it is an investment. It's a, government is the temporary steward of taxpayer dollars when we have a 4-year mandate. We take that commitment very, very seriously. So our excellent, dedicated ministry officials are always looking not only to improve service, but to make strategic investments and create savings where that's possible. So you have all the technical briefing, but as you can see with full transparency, that comes to close to $1 million in savings over the next 3 years. That factors in the one-time capital investment in the retrofit costs that the government always pays for. It's an investment in families, in family-friendly hours, in more ample parking, in online booking opportunities. At this community hub, you have the option of not only shopping for school supplies at this retailer, Staples Canada, but going over to get sporting goods at Sports Check, doing your banking at the local bank, all while being queued on your cell phone for your virtual place in line if you make the appointment online. So this pilot project is welcome because it's going to be judged based on wait times, on the customer experience. We believe in putting the customer first. So when it comes to costs, not only is there close to $1 million in savings over the next 3 years, but it's an investment in the people of Ontario, in the convenience of excellent and accessible customer service.
Just to be clear, we didn't get any technical briefings. It's just from the Canadian press. But my follow-up question to you is, these $900,000 of savings that's being quoted, just under $1 million, is from leasing costs. But to our knowledge, any privately operated location of ServiceOntario pays their own leasing costs. Can you confirm if that's true?
So we have 190 different service centers that are privately operated, representing 71%. Each compensation package for each location is a little bit different. So what is unique, say, in Pickle Lake is not the same as it would be here in Oakville with Staples Canada. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. The certain common denominators are the government must control the branding and the retrofit for ServiceOntario, whether it's government-run or privately run, regardless of the partner. That cost is always borne by the Government of Ontario. The good news in this case is that even factoring in that retrofit cost, there's still that savings of just somewhere between $900,000 and $1 million. So more or less $1 million savings over 3 years, because in this particular partnership, Staples Canada is responsible for its own leasing costs. In some instances, the compensation package is like this. In other instances, the leasing costs are not part of the package. In some cases, they are.
Good morning, Minister. Laverne McGee, CHCH News. A follow-up to the other questions. We appreciate the amount of savings that you have told us about. We appreciate the convenience, all those things. But I simply would like a dollar amount of what taxpayers are putting into this, not as an investment amount, but how much is it costing the taxpayers, a dollar amount?
When my ministry officials looked at the expiring contracts, they could see that over the next 3 years, there was going to be over $11 million in operating costs. Those operating costs with these pilot projects are now being reduced to about $10 million. That's including the capital cost for the retrofit investment that's always borne by the government. So that savings is $1 million over 3 years. And that's because of the leasing cost savings in this particular pilot project. I can give you the exact numbers, 11.2 million and 10.1 million, more or less, but we're rounding it to $1 million. That's why I say $1 million savings more or less over the next 3 years.
Could you clarify on those numbers? Did you say, are you telling me $10 million is what the taxpayers are paying? Is that what you're saying?
No, there's a shared operating cost. So whenever you look at a community model of service delivery, I mean, there's operating costs with the co-partner in Pickle Lake, the municipality. There's operating costs with the Indigenous communities and the mobile service trailer in the North Shore Tribal Council. There's operating costs that are the responsibility of the government and the responsibility of the partner. It's not one size fits all. It's a situation where there's a very, very careful consideration of the unique needs of the community, what the particular partner can offer, and it's about then making an investment. Of course, there's a cost to operating ServiceOntario outlets, and some aspects of it are borne by government, and some aspects of it are borne by the community partner or the retail partner or the individual partner. So there's a sharing of costs, and that's good for the taxpayer. What the taxpayer gets with this kind of investment in shared costs is better service, longer hours, more ample parking, online booking, the convenience of being in a community hub. So it's putting the customer first, it's making smart investments, saving taxpayer dollars in the process, and partnering with the right partners to get it done for Ontarians.
Oh, hi, Minister. It's Siobhan Morris from CTV News. If this is a pilot project, why are you closing existing outlets as opposed to just adding some and seeing how it goes at the existing outlets?
So this is one of 6 pilot projects we're looking at and that we're implementing. One is with Employment Ontario. Another, as I said, is with the Indigenous communities of the North Shore Tribal Council. And of course, this retail partnership as a pilot joins the permanent partnerships with Canadian Tire, IDA, and Home Hardware. And what's happened is, as contracts were coming up to expire, our ministry officials looked at alternative service delivery models that were working and ones that were not working as effectively. And what was possible with this retail partnership alongside the other 3, again, none of this is new, but what is new with this new additional partnership with Staples Canada, matching each and every one of the locations that were going to expire anyway, is longer hours, more ample parking, the community presence, the community hub, the convenience of shopping, where you can get access to ServiceOntario, where people live, work, and shop, was seen as the best model going forward, with the longer hours up till 9 p.m. at this location and Saturdays 9 to 5. You know, what I hear from mums and dads and small business owners across the province is they want and need that convenience of accessibility, of longer hours, of better parking, of being part of a community hub when they're accessing government services. That's what is necessary. We have the online 24/7, of course, as I mentioned in my opening remarks. But at the same time, people do have to come in or want to come into a ServiceOntario location. So it is about responding to the needs of consumers, putting the customer first, making the smart investments and creating the savings, sharing the costs. That's what gets it done in a proper way. The result of these investments and the result of this very careful selective resourcing by my ministry officials is to create better customer service for our fellow citizens and residents. That includes the longer hours that I spoke of and the easier access when you do have to or want to come in person.
And we know that there are locations who are, or operators who are paying their own rent. So if the savings aren't coming from leases, where exactly are they coming from?
Well, again, it's not one size fits all. Each of the 190 different, I think it's now up to 191 different service delivery partners. And again, back to over a century ago, the private sector service delivery model has been embraced by every party that's formed government at Queen's Park over the last century. The Liberal government, supported by the NDP 15 years ago, initiated the first 3 retail partnerships, Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and IDA. We've continued that excellent success story and added Staples Canada to it. And yet the retail partnerships only constitute about 4% of overall private sector service delivery. But it's a very successful model. It's not the right model in Pickle Lake necessarily, or in the area of the Robinson-Huron Treaty area, but it is the right fit in urban centres like Oakville, Scarborough, Welland.
That was the last question. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much.